Wonderful.
hello. Yes,
like
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Well, it has to be high spots. It has to be like a very pompous introduction. So, but
Yeah.
exactly. So anyway, let's welcome everyone. So hello, welcome everyone to 50/50 Booking. This is High Spots. There's a difference between this and the one that will be on later, which, trust me, you will notice the difference. One is going to be very much no WWE, and that'll be this one. And the one later on will be more of that one. So if you want WWE, you want the just the 50/50 Booking one. You don't want High Spots. High Spots is not WWE. And there's a reason for that, because my guest I've got talking here pretty much does not watch it. So it would be a really unworthwhile thing to... I mean, he watches NXT. We were talking about this before we went on air, but that's about it. So we are going to basically just talk about every other wrestling organization other than that one, which does seem appropriate because the first thing we're going to start with is the Forbidden Door. And we should probably explain what the Forbidden Door is for anyone who doesn't know what the Forbidden Door is. So basically, the Forbidden Door in wrestling terms is when other companies will work with each other. And it's going on at present between 3 of them, possibly end up being more at this point, because AEW is the main one. They work with NWA and they also work with Impact. And there's a good chance now, unless I know otherwise, it may be officially confirmed, I don't know, they're now going to be working with New Japan.
Yeah.
And
from what I can work out, they are.
Ah, well, there you go.
It's heading that way.
It does seem likely, considering New Japan people are turning up on those programs. Because the Impact just gone, you had I think it was Juice Robinson and Finlay, I think it is.
Yeah, David Finlay.
Yeah. So it does seem quite likely. And of course, you had Kenta turn up on AEW to try and beat John Moxley for some reason, but
yeah. Well, that's the thing, that they are scheduled to face off, like in the coming weeks for Moxley's, IWGP US title.
Yeah, isn't that? I've got the notes here because I wasn't sure I'd remember it properly, because obviously it's a new thing for IWGP. Apparently, they have like an American branch now, and apparently it's the USA version of New Beginnings, which I'm guessing is a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever caught any of their shows. They've got a show called NJPW Strong.
I've seen Dominion and I've seen Wrestle Kingdom. I've not seen Strong.
Yeah, well, Wrestle Kingdom is the NJPW version of WrestleMania. That's their big show. And Dominion is usually sort of like halfway through the year, sort of like in May time. It's a good show. You've got a show coming up in 6 days' time called Castle Attack, which is another one of those, Tetsuya Naito, I'm not sure if he's going to be fit enough to fight, wrestle on the show. He suffered a knee injury in the past week or so. He came out on the 20th on the show last week to explain that he's got a knee injury and he may not be fit in time to face Ibushi Kota. But what he was looking at before his injury, he came out and challenged Kota for his Intercontinental title, because at the moment,
isn't he both the world champion and that one?
But the thing is, Naito Tetsuya has a history of the IC title, and I think at the moment in time, it's looking like he'd prefer to get that title rather than the actual IWGP Heavyweight.
Okay, it does make you wonder though why somebody would pick that. But I suppose if you have a certain attachment to that belt, then possibly I could understand that, because. Was Naito the one who kept on treating it like it was crap? Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember seeing one guy who just was literally just leaving it lying around, throwing it around the place, just didn't give a crap.
Yeah, but that's his character as well, though. Yeah, he's in a group called Los Ingobernables de Japan, and that's when he was playing more heelish characters. But they seem to have gone babyface in the past 6 months or so. I suppose that's to do with the stable that they were fighting with. They were having a feud with a group that was, Minoru Suzuki's group, Suzuki Gun.
Oh yes, it's like I do know about New Japan is there's lots of factions.
Yeah.
Because there's Chaos, Suzuki Gun you mentioned.
Yeah, you've got Club. You've got Los Ingobernables, and you've got one now that's just recently been set up by a guy called Tomoyuki Oka, who's now called the Great Okan.
Okay, I've heard the name, but I've not
Yeah,
seen him.
yeah. And there's a guy called Jeff Cobb joined it, and also you may know a guy called Will Ospreay.
I know Will Ospreay. I've seen him do
Will
British
Ospreay
independent stuff.
Yeah, he turned heel on Kazuchika Okada.
That's pretty much. If you're going to turn heel, that's pretty much the person you do it on.
Yeah, because basically what it was, because Will Ospreay was in the group with Chaos, with Kazuchika Okada, the leader. So he basically turned on him with the line that you've been holding me back all these years. You've seen it before in other promotions, or you've been holding me back. Go back. Yeah.
I was going to say, wasn't he junior heavyweight and he's gone up to heavyweight?
Yeah,
isn't that the thing? Yeah.
That was the one, yeah. He wanted to test what he was like in the heavyweights. And to be fair, he's held his own.
I'll say, well, the thing is, the minute you go heavyweight in New Japan, surely your target is usually the world title, and the card is usually around that belt somewhere.
Yeah.
So it kind of does make sense, because if you're in a faction with the same guy who's going to be always around the title, at some point you're going to clash heads.
That's the one, yeah.
So Jeff Cobb, I've heard of. He was on AEW Dynamite, I think it was, a while ago, and I've also seen him pop up in Ring of Honor. I think it was.
Yeah, Ring of Honor. He's a big guy. He's from down under.
Yeah, he's like a powerlifter. He's like squat.
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah.
From what I saw, he was very impressive, but I have limited viewing of his matches, so you've probably seen more than I have, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah, because obviously, I watch New Japan every show, so
Oh, that helps. So it helps you keep up with it. Here's a question for you, because I've heard this a lot about New Japan, and because you watch it religiously, so this will probably be a good thing to ask you.
Yeah,
is the thing about them always doing tag matches actually a thing, or are people just overblowing that? I mean, when they're not doing major shows,
they do a lot of it. They do a lot of tag team matches, but I think it's because it's like there's factions, so of course they go up against each other. But a lot of these actual tag team matches, what they have actually builds up to like some of the major stars having the singles matches. So, say for instance, you've got Los Ingobernables, going up against say like a Suzuki Gun, and you got Tai Chi from Suzuki Gun was going to be fighting, say, Naito. What would happen afterwards if they do some kind of a stare down or a beat down kind of angle, which then would set up their match?
Oh, I see. So the point usually of the tag matches is to tie into the feud.
Yeah.
Okay, that at least makes sense, because I understand they don't do as many shows as some of the other companies do. So when they do their things, they kind of are building up, and it's probably a very easy way to do so.
I suppose in a way they're very similar to AAA in Mexico, because that's what they used to do. They were very fond of their 6-man tags over there, So
yeah, they was also fond of not tagging.
Yeah,
good luck working out who's legal.
I'm not very familiar with the Mexican product these days, to be honest with you. So
I mean, I'm going from what I know, and it's not a lot, because there's Ray Phoenix, there's Penta, and there's a couple of others that I've seen, but for the most part, I don't really see much of it, to be honest. But
the ones that we used to see years ago, you used to see him on WCW when WCW was around with Nitro, because you had
Juventud Guerrero and Rey Mysterio and
Psychosis and that, But since sort of like that went away, I mean, after sort of like the formative years of TNA, I mean, they just kind of sort of like went. It does seem to go under the radar.
Yeah, I think that might also do with the fact, because obviously when they were in WCW, you had Conan in WCW as well. Conan was a big proponent of these guys. In fact, he was an agent for a lot of them, from what I remember.
Yeah.
So, and for those of you who don't know who Conan is,
look
into him, because he's an interesting guy, and he's still a very mysterious agent now.
Yeah. So you see if they end up getting disillusioned with life in WWE, I could see him crossing over to AEW, because there's a lot of guys there that he could have a decent feud with, I think.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I think at the moment the reason why Ray will probably stay put is because they're putting his kid on telly. He's getting experience, he's getting training and stuff, and they're looking after him. So I think that probably is going to help in that regard. But if it was just purely a wrestling decision, he probably would not be in WWE, in my honest opinion. But in all fairness, I can see why he chose it, because it's like, they're going to look after my family.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
They've had the daughter around as well, I believe.
Yeah, she's been on a few things. Alaya, I think it is. She was put into a storyline where she was supposed to be in a relationship with a wrestler, and he's a fair bit older, so people got a bit weirded out by that. Yeah, it's a storyline. Nobody cares. Also, both of legal age.
Yeah.
But people have weird things. But she's not been on telly for a while, so. But she has been involved, as has Ray's wife.
Yeah.
So you can see why they possibly go that way. But a lot of these sort of things, I think, would be helped by obviously what we're talking about with the Forbidden Door stuff. Because obviously, if that Forbidden Door, because WWE is pretty much the only holdout now for that door.
Yeah.
Because pretty much every other company will now work with each other via essentially AEW.
Yeah.
So
I like the idea of these companies working for each other because, you know, when you think about it, up until recently, it's like WWE had a monopoly on the wrestling business. Now these guys are now banding together, hopefully to be able to stick it to Vince now. And these guys can turn around and say, now, do you know what? WWE isn't the only ticket in town. You know, we've got places to go. We can go to Impact. We can go to AEW. You know, we can go to Major League Wrestling if need be, you know.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest issues when WCW fell, but then ECW fell. And, of course, then TNA sort of nearly got there, but didn't quite.
Yeah.
And that left WWE on its own. And when you have no competition, you're going to stagnate and you're not going to get better. In fact, you're probably going to get worse.
I think TNA's big problem was they had Dixie Carter in charge, and to be honest with you, she didn't have a good mind for the wrestling business. You know, she would have needed someone like Bruce Pritchard in her corner, you know, or Jim Cornette, people of that ilk.
Yeah, the problem with Dixie Carter, for the most part, and this is from what I understand, is the money came from her family. It wasn't actually her money. But there's also the fact of some of the people she brought in were like Vince Russo, and Vince Russo is a very divisive person amongst wrestlers, let alone fans.
Well, that's the thing. We all know that the only person that Vince Russo cared about was Vince Russo. So we know that.
Well, probably a very good way of explaining this to people who don't know, because obviously a lot of people know who Eric Bischoff is, right?
Yeah.
If you put Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo together, every wrestling fan would kick Russo in the balls and leave Bischoff alone. If you had to choose which one.
Yeah. That's the thing. At least Bischoff had, you know, he had a good mindset for wrestling. I mean, you know, the NWO. You know, that's the big one.
I mean, I don't know if you do, but Bischoff has a podcast. I actually listened to it.
I am aware of it, but I've just never listened.
Okay. He comes up with some very interesting stuff and explains a lot of things because they look back on stuff he done. Like pay-per-views, when he went to WWE, when he went back to WWE the last time. And he explains a lot about the story, about what goes on behind the scenes. It doesn't kayfabe benefit. You hear, he tells you what actually happened, like from his point of view. Obviously, he is obviously from his point of view, and everyone, when say it's from your own point of view, sometimes it can be a bit, but it's nice to hear that from someone because usually, from what they tell you and from what you hear, you can probably work out the truth.
Yeah. I'm sure that, you know, if you had a conversation with him, he'd be telling you there's lots of things that he would have done differently back in the day if he could.
It happens on the podcast because he will see it like a skit or a match, and he'll be, oh, why did I book that shit?
In fact, I know it sounds, strange, like to say this, but I think a lot of the problems he had was the fact that Hogan always had creative control of his own character, no matter what company he was in. He brought all his own people in, you know, he was pushing people that didn't deserve to be pushed. You had the likes of Brutus the Barber Beefcake there, like Virgil was there, you know, people like that.
Look at the current wrestling world. Does any wrestler have creative control?
Not anymore. I mean, to a certain extent, maybe.
I mean, technically, AEW, because four of them are vice presidents, but they're still beholden to Tony Khan.
Have you noticed how Cody never puts himself towards the heavyweight title? Have you noticed how he doesn't put himself ahead of anyone else?
Well, Cody stepped himself out of that one. He can't challenge for it.
Yeah.
Which is a very good way of showing people, look, I'm not going to try and do this because I can't.
Yeah. No.
So, Now, of course, you've got 3 of them out
Yeah.
of 4 are champions. But
Yeah.
to be fair to them, that's taken them, what, 18 months
Yeah,
since they opened as a company?
2 years, and Kenny Omega only recently won a title, and you've got the Young Bucks, obviously.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say, I do have a certain opinion of Kenny Omega, and it's not a popular one because I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan, no?
Of Kenny Omega. No. The Bucks, I am to a point, but then there's a point where sometimes I just think, ugh. But I can understand. I understand the Bucks better, I think, than I do Omega. Omega, I just look at it and just think, why?
Yeah.
I might not like the Bucks or some of what they do, but I understand why they do it.
Yeah. I mean, the Young Bucks were always accused of being what you call spot monkeys.
Oddly enough, something I do not have a problem with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My issue has always been with them is when they're trying to do like dialogue.
Yeah.
Because they are very bad at it. You need to watch, if you want to watch them talk properly, BTA.
Yeah.
When they're on television doing Dynamite,
no.
To me, I just think, why am I listening to this? Just talk the way you do on BTA.
Yeah. That kind of, in a way, it reminds me of when you saw, I don't know if you've caught this, have you seen any of Stone Cold Steve Austin's Broken Skull sessions?
I've seen a couple of them, particularly I saw the Undertaker one.
The Undertaker one was the one I was going to refer to, where I know we all know that he's from Texas, but when you've heard him for so many years speaking like in his Undertaker character voice, and then and then when you hear him on the Broken Skull session, and it's just just this normal Texan accent, it kind of throws you, and it's like, whoa.
Well, yeah, I mean, like yourself, obviously, we're of an older age. We remember him as Mean Mark.
Yep.
And I heard him doing interviews as Mean Mark, and he had that accent then.
Yeah.
So it's not such an adjustment for us, but people who've never heard that, we just thought, what the hell?
You can imagine, yeah.
Because it is such a culture shock thing, but also that's a character thing, though, as well, which is the other thing. I think.
Well, I like the fact that he always, no matter where he was, he stayed in character. He protected that character for 30 years.
Including when Vader tried beating up an Iraqi host on TV. He's just like this.
Yeah.
Which I got to say, out of that whole situation, that was the bit I liked the most. I was like, kayfabe, brother, kayfabe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of people who give him crap now for not maintaining that, but at this point, he's old, he's retired.
He's done it all.
Yeah.
He's done it all. He deserves that. He deserves it now to have his day. His day rest.
Yeah, I don't see the issue. Let him do shit. Nobody actually cares.
Oh.
Apart from apparently a little fraction of the internet who are like, no, he's the Undertaker. You can't do that. Yeah, you're forgetting he's a person, and it's entertainment.
Yes. And you think that getting 30 years of putting his body on the line, his hips have been fucked for how many years?
You've got to bear in mind, it's more than 30 because you're just talking about Undertaker.
Well, yeah, that's it. Well, yeah, 35. If we talk about his
Unabomber, the whole
thing,
so it's probably closer to 40 in all honesty.
Suppose it could be, yeah. When you think about the fact that before that he did a bit of basketball as well, and that's not exactly kind to the knees.
Definitely not. So, or the hip, which is the main thing that's really screwed him.
Yeah.
So I think when you get to that point in wrestling, I mean, it's like Jericho, and people take the mickey out of him for his weight. It don't matter. The
guy's nearly fucking 50 years of age.
He is 50 years of age. He's past it. But here's the thing. He's not a cruiserweight anymore.
No.
It don't matter. No. He's not trying to do...
It happens to us all.
Yeah, but he's not trying to do tope con hilos and suicidas and stuff. That's not his thing.
No, but the fact is, he's reinvented himself. How many times has this guy reinvented himself? I think he deserves a bit more credit than he gets from some people.
Yeah,
You know?
people just have this
Yeah.
with certain wrestlers. People
And
just have this view where it's just like,
yeah.
and you just
I'm
want
not
to say,
saying I'm not saying that just because I was one of the biggest Jerichoholics walking. You know, it's the fact that can you really think of any guy who could reinvent himself so many times like he has?
it's a short list.
Yeah, there's not many. No.
It's a very short list. And bear in mind also over the time period as well.
Yeah.
Because you'll get people who reinvent themselves, but it's over usually a shorter period of time.
Yeah, that's it.
But he's like 30 years, and that's
Yeah.
probably unchanged at this point because I imagine it's over 30 now. But
and then you consider the fact that obviously he's in a rock band as well, and he's got all that to do as well.
Fozzy, he's also not one with a podcast as well. So he has other and acting. He has commitments outside of wrestling.
Yeah.
Also, he's married. He's got kids.
Exactly.
So I'm sorry if I can't be in shape like I was 20 years ago. I've got other shit.
Yes. You know.
I think just about every guy would sympathise with this because it'd be like, we get it.
Yeah. Of course.
But apparently some of them think, oh, he can't be bothered. You try doing what he does and see how you deal with it.
Yeah. So talking about the guy, know that it to when you stage. It was
Ooh, I just had a bit of fun with sound there, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I thought so.
It kind of went all robotic as you started talking.
Right, yeah. I was just touching on the fact that people were talking about Jericho's being out of shape, and I was just saying that people's metabolism slows down when they get past a certain age.
Yeah,
so
I mean, there is instances of people where it won't happen, but that's usually because it's a medical thing. But on average, people once you hit 30,
So
unless you can spend a lot of time dedicated to not
and money,
then you are going to gain weight. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Especially if, like him, you drink.
Yeah.
Because people who drink will put on weight. It's just a scientific fact. It's what it is. Doesn't mean it's wrong.
No.
Speaking of somebody who doesn't drink.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with that. I mean, it's your body, your money. You do what you wish. Okay, you're not hurting anyone. Don't care. So in his case, he's earned his money.
Yeah, and he can do with it what the fuck he likes.
Right. Yeah. He's not hurting me. I don't care.
No.
So
I
mean, although it seems we've got to Jericho, this would be something that would be interesting news. I do like his little faction.
Yes, did you? What do you make of the Sammy Guevara thing?
Is this you on about him and Impact?
Yeah. What it was? Yeah, he turned up in Impact because he's. I don't know if you're aware of the fact that Sammy Guevara quit the Inner Circle.
Yeah, it was on Dynamite a week, literally right before it.
He's apparently got a bit of heat with Impact at the moment because apparently he wanted to go there and win. Was it the
X Division
title? And win it straight away. And apparently he wanted to keep it for a long time, but obviously, Impact have basically said, you can go fuck yourself, kind of thing. So.
Fair to Impact, I can understand why, because no offense to Sammy, he's Sammy Guevara. It's not like if it was, I don't know, if it'd been someone like Pac or Jericho who came over and did that, you'd be, okay, sure.
Yeah.
I could be more open to that as a company because them having that, you can see where that would benefit you because they will immediately take it, go on Dynamite, boom, that's more viewers. Plus somebody like Pac, who's also British, will possibly at some point also wrestle in Europe as well.
Yeah.
And then you'll have stuff there. And in Japan, because he likes wrestling for Dragon Gate.
Yes, that's the one, yeah.
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 So I always try to remember that one because Pac has a very, very special place in his wrestling life for Dragon Gate.
See now, I get what you're saying there, but I'd actually also like to see Pac fight in the junior heavyweight division in New Japan, because you've got the New Japan, the junior champion called Hiromu Takahashi. Absolutely fantastic, and I think a match between them two would be epic.
Well, with the Forbidden Door opening, that may end up being a thing, but you know why they might be a bit hesitant about that though.
Yeah.
About Pac wrestling any of them though. Do you know why?
I suppose sometimes his attitude isn't the greatest.
It's because he's a bastard.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah. I just had to get that in there because I love that name for him.
Yeah. The bastard! Yeah. Justin Roberts, have you ever heard, you heard the way he announces?
He almost orgasms in his pants when he says that.
When he announces John Moxley.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and have you ever heard him when he's announcing Kenny Omega?
Yes.
Yeah, there's apparently it's just an inside joke when he mentions North Carolina.
Yeah, it's something to do with Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what it was at first, because it was just I wondered what the significance of it was when he was bringing him out, and he was like North Carolina, and I thought, what is the significance of that?
I mean, wrestling wise, obviously we know there's Matt Hardy, there's FTR.
Well, you got Ric Flair as well, because he's North Carolina, Carolinian.
Yeah. On.
Yeah. There's another one. So yeah.
Could have been something like that, but no, apparently it's something to do with Michael Jordan. I don't know what exactly it is to do with Michael Jordan, but apparently it's a Michael Jordan reference or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not really a basketball fan, because that I do know is he played basketball. Apparently he tried playing baseball, but we don't know that,
I'm not a big fan of, it's not my thing.
So, but if it is your thing, viewers, go for it.
But everybody likes what they like,
Exactly. I mean, for example, with myself and we follow football, or as you Americans would call it, soccer.
Not a great result for your boys today, I must say. No. I mean, what's your take on Mourinho right now?
I don't think it's him. I think it's the players.
You think it's the players? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, very much.
I think a lot of them stopped playing for Mourinho when he was at United, so... Hey, we've got Ollie in charge now, so...
Well, you're playing later on today.
Newcastle today. Yes. So,
Newcastle
at 7 o'clock, yeah.
So, that'd be over here in good old England, and on the Sunday, the 21st February, which is today. So anyone who watches this later doesn't get confused trying to find a match, which is already happened. Because that would be a bit weird. Although I hate to break it to you, some bad news for you. Your local rivals are winning 1-0.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
Although, on the plus side for me, they're beating the ones I don't like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it was to be expected, though. So.
Yeah. More goals though. But anyway, we should probably go back to the wrestling. The actual sports thing I do is actually on Monday. Well, I'm going to get into things like VAR.
Yeah.
So. Yes, that's going to be quite colourful. But obviously, we should probably get back to the wrestling part, because obviously that's the important thing to say. Obviously, we mentioned about New Japan's pay-per-view coming up. AEW has one coming up fairly soon too, which is Revolution.
Revolution, yeah.
Okay. Now, is it just me, or is there no such thing as a bad ladder match in AEW?
Definitely not. They've got the guys that can do it.
Exactly, because I looked at the ones they've already announced for this match, and I'll get to something else I know about this, and I'll get to in a minute. We have Cody, Scorpio Sky, and then Penta. Yeah. And apparently, I'm guessing it's probably to do with Dynamite that's going to happen. We might get Archer or Phoenix added, because there's a thing saying one or the other, so I'm guessing they're going to fight each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to see it just because I want to see what Archer and Phoenix can do together in a ring.
Just touching on Archer for a second there, I think it's very weird him being a babyface at the moment. So I still fully expect him to go full blown heel again very soon.
I think it would probably happen, but I think it'll be a character thing rather than just because. Because I think the reason why he's more face at the moment, it's character driven because of Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
Because Eddie Kingston's a douche, essentially.
Yeah.
And you can't have Archer face him as a heel.
No.
Because it's not going to work. Because people are going to cheer Archer because Archer's going to do strongman stuff. And people love strongman stuff.
Yeah.
And Archer's a big boy.
Oh, he is indeed, yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean, I liked his stuff when he was in New Japan, you know.
I see.
He was basically the killer of the Suzuki Gun faction.
I remember him in Impact.
Yeah. Lance Hoyt.
TNA, with Kid Cash.
Yeah, Lance Hoyt, yeah.
So that's how far back it goes. Because it took me a while to realise it was the same guy, because obviously he looks very different now.
Yeah.
But definitely an improvement. I think Japan's done some good stuff for Lance Archer.
Well, do you remember when he was in that rock band kind of group in TNA with Christy Hemme as well?
Yeah, that was the best bit apart. That Christy Hemme.
And it was a guy called Jimmy Rave, wasn't it? And Lance Hoyt and Jimmy Rave. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
They came out with those rock band instruments.
Yeah. And they always used to say the wrong town that he was in. You know.
To be fair, that's good heel heat. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It's a shame Jarrett never did that, and nobody beat the crap out of him for it. But
no. Yeah.
But I get your point though with Archer, though, because I do think ultimately he's a better heel.
Yeah.
But as I think, and this is a big thing, but certain other wrestling companies should take note of, if it's a character thing, make it work with the character.
Of course, yeah.
Don't just make it happen because it's meant to happen. Because it's a thing, because you can't just turn somebody face and not have it make sense, because it's dumb.
Yeah.
And your audience knows this. They're not stupid.
Of course, yeah.
If you're going to change somebody, make it clear. I mean, but if we're going to talk heels, and I am my favourite AEW heel, simply because I find him hilarious to watch, is MJF.
Oh, yeah, brilliant.
That man is so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a theory about MJF, to be honest with you, and I don't know if they could actually still do this. I had this thing that he was trying to take over the Inner Circle group, and that he was trying to usurp Chris Jericho.
I think that is the plan.
It is the plan, yeah. And that is all the work that Guevara's quit. He could come back, and then he could, you do the swerve where, they all beat down Jericho kind of thing.
You've got some options, to be honest, because there's a few different ways it can go, particularly now Sammy's departed, because you can have Sammy come back, and it turns out he was in cahoots with MJF. Yeah. You can have him split off, and then they kick out Jericho, and then Jericho and Sammy take on the remnants of the Inner Circle. Yeah. So there's a few ways you can go with it.
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
So, giving yourself options in a storyline is a great thing to do. You don't want to be stuck where you can only go one way, which is a very common thing for certain companies. But anyway... well, certain types of booking and creative, shall we say.
Yeah.
So, but the one thing I do have to pick on AEW for, and rightly so, is the women's division.
Oh, the women's division, yeah.
So, because there are some great female wrestlers in that division.
Yeah.
No, Shida. Shida Spring. I like watching Shida.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Yeah.
Here's the thing. There's three wrestlers, three female wrestlers, I should probably quantify, that I enjoy watching, and they're very inexperienced, but you wouldn't know by watching them, in my opinion. You got Ty Conti, Anna Jay, and there's Abaddon.
Yeah.
Okay. And some people have a weird thing with Abaddon.
Like watching Anna Jay.
Sorry?
I wonder why you like watching Anna Jay.
She's a good wrestler.
Of course, yeah.
No, she's a good wrestler.
Yeah. No, yeah, she is, yeah. But there's another name I'd like to throw in there as well. Britt Baker.
I'm not a fan of Britt Baker.
You're not liking her, no?
I have an issue with her wrestling ability.
Right.
Or lack of.
Yeah.
On the mic, I can see the appeal. I can. Yeah. But she's not. I don't think she's for me.
Yeah.
But as I tell people all the time, that's okay, because there's supposed to be something for everybody. Yeah, it shouldn't always be just for me.
Yeah.
It'd be nice, but that's not how the world works.
Yeah. No.
So, but if somebody likes Britt Baker as a wrestler, great.
Yeah,
Not a problem.
Like you touched on, I think it's more the character than the actual wrestling ability that appeals to people.
Yeah, because I've seen her in wrestling matches, and she's I don't like saying this, I really don't. She's botchy.
Yeah.
And I think the talking and her character hides a lot of her shortcomings.
Yeah.
And because she's not that experienced as well. She's another one who's not got that much experience, especially in front of a national stage.
Yeah. You think it's so strange?
I think she will get better. I do.
Yeah. It's weird, this, because I don't know if you're aware of who her boyfriend is, Adam Cole.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you think that Adam Cole would sort of like give her some pointers, you know? Do you all know how good yeah.
You would maybe think so, but that might be why she's so botch prone.
Yeah, possible, you know.
Because, FYI, don't like Adam Cole.
Yeah. You don't. Have you seen the latest angle now in NXT by any chance?
Oh, he's turned on the
Undisputed Era, which I'm going to say something about this now. I think WWE fucked up there, because in my opinion, Undisputed Era were the best thing in WWE, period.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will give you two retorts to this. One,
yeah.
If you're going to do that, I think they did it a year too late.
Yeah.
Secondly, if you're going to have them then go up to the main shows at some point, why break them up?
Yeah.
Now, because they're probably going to put them up not too long afterwards. If you break them up a year ago,
yeah,
and then not too long from now, then put them up, nobody will remember because people have generally short-term memories.
I think so. I read something a while back that apparently all members of the Undisputed Era basically threatened to quit WWE if the group was ever split up, or if they tried to put them on the main roster. Apparently, they didn't want to go up to Raw or SmackDown. They wanted to stay on NXT, and they said if they ever threatened to split this group up, that they'd all walk. So I guess money talks.
Clearly. I mean, what I would say, though, when it comes to the group, since we're talking about the group, I like Kylo.
Yeah.
And I like Red Dragon.
Yeah.
It's just Cole. For some reason, I just don't get on with how he wrestles.
Yeah.
I think it's because I saw way too many matches of him and Gargano.
Yeah.
And that really irritated me because finish a kick out. Stop it.
It was the same with Tommaso Ciampa as well when he was feuding with Gargano as well.
Yeah, first couple of matches there.
Yeah.
Didn't mind it, but when you do it so many times.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
It's probably NXT's one major problem, in all honesty, is that. To carry on for too long. That and Velveteen Dream.
Yeah, Velveteen Dream, no, not for me.
As I said, problem.
Yeah. I think Velveteen Dream was another version of Orlando Jordan.
Here's the thing, though. Orlando Jordan, I think, works better than Velveteen Dream ever will. Because I think Velveteen Dream is playing that. Orlando Jordan was what he portrayed. I
actually read an article yesterday. It was in one of me issues of Wrestle Talk. And they was talking about, wrestlers, like gay, lesbian, bisexual, all that kind of thing. And,
GLBTQ.
Yeah.
I never remember that but that thing, yeah.
Yeah, I read something about it yesterday, and it's a case of a lot of them didn't get accepted because of what they were. I mean, is the tide turning now? Yeah, because of Vince McMahon. I mean, apparently there was. I read one of them basically said that Vince McMahon had said to him, "We don't want you or any of your kind here." But it always sort of like confused me that because Pat Patterson, like you just said, he was one of Vince McMahon's best friends.
And I think I have an explanation for that. And it's the same with any sort of thing, whether you happen to be gay, straight, bi, whatever.
Yeah.
If you've got the talent and you've got the desire, nobody gives a crap.
No, definitely not.
I mean, look at Omega.
Yeah.
Right? There's an example. Omega's bi, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I don't actually care. It's none of my business. But again, people like him. People think he's good. Again, as I said before, not my cup of tea. But people like him, and people like the way he wrestles. That's great. And then there's other people who are along those lines. And you know what? Don't care.
No, don't care.
As long as you entertain.
As long as you put on a good show. Yeah. You know.
That's all you need to do. Your private life is your own. I don't care.
Exactly. You know. And
I wish more people thought that way, but apparently they don't. Because apparently your private life is everyone's business.
Oh yeah. You know.
Especially if you're in a thing where you appear on television.
Yeah.
So,
you know, you're not allowed a life of your own. You've got people to answer to, haven't you?
Generally, yeah. It's not fun. Really isn't.
Yeah.
But going to get back to Revolution because there's two particular things I want to touch upon. One of which being, I think you might find interesting, the world title match that got announced for it.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever seen one of those matches before?
I haven't seen one of them, but I've heard of them. There was a company in Japan called Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling, or FMW, that used to do stuff like that.
Yeah, because Tony used to go there to do it.
Yeah, Atsushi Onita. He was a proponent of the exploding ring, barbed wire kind of thing, you know, barbed wire ropes, all that sort of thing, you know. Sabu went there. I'm sure Terry
Funk did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sabu and Terry Funk went there. Well, of course they did.
Yeah. Terry Funk was another one.
Yeah.
No?
I'm surprised New Jack didn't fucking go.
Oh, no. Yeah. Bloody hell. Yeah. You know.
Anyone who doesn't know who New Jack is, if you're a new person to wrestling, look it up. You'll understand.
Very, very interesting character. You know.
Right. But now, of course, you've got Moxley and Omega in one.
Yeah.
On a national, big-time pay-per-view.
I just think it's going to be watered down.
Well, that'd be my thing. It's like, how will they do it? Because the thing is, they had an unsanctioned match back at Full Gear.
Yeah.
Not this one, before. And that match that made people really uncomfortable. I enjoyed it because that's what I expected from them both, particularly from Moxley. Because Moxley used to do death matches. It's a thing he used to do.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. But that's what you should expect from an unsanctioned match. It should not be a normal match. You need to make it stand out. And I think the same thing should happen with this exploding barbed wire match. Yeah. People should not be comfortable watching that shit because you shouldn't be comfortable with it.
No, because if you're going to watch something like that, you want to be like almost like putting your hands over your face, thinking, "What the fuck has just happened?" You know,
it's like when you watch a horror film. Well, apart from me, because I laugh at horror films, but usually,
yeah,
people like that. Yeah, the hands over their face because they're like, but they're still looking for their fingers. Like,
yeah.
But I don't understand why some people are like, "Oh, it's too violent." Of course it is.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, Moxley used to wrestle them sort of kind of matches in Combat Zone Wrestling.
ZZW as well.
Yeah, ZZW, yeah. That's Combat Zone Wrestling, yeah. So, their main TV show was called Ultra Violent Underground. You know,
and they walked around holding teddy bears and dancing.
Yeah,
together.
of course, yeah. You know, little teddy bears picnics and stuff like that. You know.
Yes, that's what I figured. Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, I'm so shocked." But so I'm assuming, like me, I plan to watch Revolution.
Yeah.
That match, I'm very interested to see what they do with it, as to whether, like you mentioned, whether they water it down or whether they're going to get ultra violent like Moxley can.
Yeah. So
that should be fun. Yeah. The other thing, of course, because I will mention this one particularly because obviously we're older wrestling fans, so it probably relates more to us. And there's a street fight which is between Team Taz, and of course Sting. And we remember Sting when Sting was young.
Yeah.
Before spinal stenosis and Seth Rollins.
Yes. Absolutely, yeah.
So, scared a lot of people this past week on Dynamite. He got powerbombed by Brian Cage.
The guy's 61 years of age and he's taking bumps like that. You know,
he took it like a pro, and Cage took care of him.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think for a big guy, I think Brian Cage is actually quite smooth.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched plenty of Brian Cage matches, and I like the guy. I think he's great to watch.
He reminds me of one of your old favourites. Remember Hernandez from Impact?
Yeah, he's back in Impact.
Yeah, is he back? Yeah.
He's that kind of dude. Yeah, absolutely. But I think Cage is probably stronger, if anything.
Probably. Yeah.
So, but I also think as well, talking isn't really Cage's strong point. I mean, I've heard him being interviewed, and that's good. But I don't think promo-wise he's that good. That's why it's good to put him with Taz.
That's it, because Taz is great on the mic. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Ricky Starks definitely needs somebody to talk for him. The man. Oh.
Yeah. I know. Sounds like one of them annoying. When he speaks, you just want to say, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but maybe that's the point.
Possibly, perhaps that's part of his character. You
That's
know,
what I mean.
his job is to make is to annoy the fuck out of people.
Yeah. To be fair, it could be exactly why he's like that. But but the best thing, of course, is you have someone like Taz, and Taz knows how to create heat and create confrontation just by talking. He doesn't need to do anything else.
No, definitely not.
The man can start a fight in a room on his own.
Yeah. Yeah.
And still be upset and still be annoyed about and angry about the fact that he lost, even though it was him.
Yeah. That's it.
But it's something he's always been very good at. So he's talking. Obviously, they've got that street fight. Now, a lot of people say, oh, it's going to be cinematic. Now, after that powerbomb, I'm not so sure that's happening. I think we might get an actual fight.
Yeah. I think so.
I'm happy to see that because, honestly, I'm fed up with cinematic matches.
Yeah. I don't think the AJ Styles and Undertaker match looked quite right when it went cinematic, to be honest with you.
I didn't like it.
No.
Not a fan of the, I think it was Boneyard, was it? Boneyard?
Boneyard, yeah. And why play the stupid music in the background? There was, no need.
I think with a cinematic match, you may or may not agree with me with this, but I'm going to give my opinion. If you're going to do it the way they do the Bray Wyatt Cena one. Go completely with it and go completely insanely stupid.
Yeah.
Embrace the ridiculous.
I don't want this to sound like I watch this WWE. I've got my little lad. Obviously, he's of an age where he likes watching WWE and stuff. I've got the WWE Network, and I basically watch the archive content on there.
Target audience.
Yeah, he likes watching things like he watched his WrestleMania and stuff. So if he has it on in the background, and sometimes it's a bit hard to avoid.
Well, that's fair enough.
I go back and watch all the old stuff, like all the old Raws from back in the day, the Attitude Era, and I've been watching like old primetime wrestling and stuff like that, and all the old ECW.
Oh yeah, normally when it comes to WWE, I make a point of watching something where somebody tells me it's something different, like the Funhouse match, the Iron Yard stuff, because it's different. So I like to see if it's interesting, whether it's creative, because I like stuff like that. I mean, I have issues with too many cinematic matches, full stop. But if you have a most often is fine. One I did like, Stadium Stampede. Big fan of that one. Because, again, like the Funhouse match, it just embraced the fact it was stupid.
Yeah. But WWE are known for being stupid, aren't they? Though. So
yeah, if you're gonna have a match where you can do almost anything, fucking embrace the fact you can do almost anything. Yeah,
that's it. WWE, the kind of company where if it's an anything goes match, someone picks a weapon up and the referee's there telling him to put it down. It's a fucking bad match, you twat.
Yeah, that sounds just like Hell in a Cell. Oh wait, DQ.
Yeah. Oh, what gets me is if the wrestlers are going to do a move off the top rope, the referee starts counting. Why? He's still inside the ring, you muppet.
Yeah, I think that's one for people will argue with you, but I can see you. I see you. But I think it depends on how you've climbed up the ropes. If you've done it from inside the ring up to the top rope, then technically you've never left the ring.
Yeah.
But if you've gone out to the ropes, outside the ropes, then I can understand the count.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on how you've got to the top rope.
Maybe. So, yeah, it could be, yeah.
So, but maybe it's what they're told to do. Because after all, if Vince tells you to do something in WWE, you fucking do it.
Yeah. You'll do it. God damn it! Yeah.
And all that shit.
Yeah.
So, but here's something, obviously, because we're talking about wrestling. So I'm going to go on to something which we have quite a lot of experience of, obviously, listening to commentators. Is commentary booths. Obviously, the 3-man booths are thing. Fan or not?
It harkens back to the good old days, doesn't it? When you think about, I don't know if you remember the days where it was Vince McMahon, Jesse Ventura, and Bruno Sammartino on Superstars of Wrestling back in the mid-80s.
I think that I didn't see Superstars back then, but
Right, yeah, and if you remember WCW Nitro, where they had Mike Tenay, Bobby Heenan, and Tony Schiavone.
Yeah, Zbyszko as well, yeah.
Yeah, it was like Larry Zbyszko as well, and Thunder had Bobby Heenan, Schiavone, and a guy called Lee Marshall.
Oh, great!
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Lee Marshall, for anyone who doesn't know, used to be the voice of Tony the Tiger, hence the great.
Right, yeah.
So,
yeah. But he didn't sound like he knew what he was talking about, to be honest with you, when it comes to the wrestling. I think,
Well, to be honest, I think one of the reasons he was there is because people knew who he was, because he literally was the voice of Tony the Tiger, which if you've ever had any cereal, you know what that is.
Yeah.
And his voice is really obvious that it's him. Yeah. So it probably attracted people out of curiosity. It's a way to bring people in. Not always the worst thing to do, but it can mean that your knowledge of what you're watching or what you're trying to explain to people is limited, and that can affect how it's enjoyed by the people watching.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the reasons why 3-man booths probably became a thing, is so you could have 2 normal commentators and then have one who's like not so familiar with what's going on and just try to entertain everyone else.
But then saying that though, if I remember correctly, wasn't it times when Gorilla Monsoon and Heenan had Roddy Piper with them?
It did happen a few times, yes, definitely. But because here's the thing, it's obviously you had that back in the past. The thing is, up until Nitro, whenever I've watched wrestling, it'd always been either one person or 2. It wasn't 2 or 3. The only time I'd ever seen one person up until the Nitro thing was Jim Ross, because he used to do the syndicated shows for WCW.
Yeah.
Which is like pro.
And then you had Lance Russell as well on WCW. I don't know if you remember that,
I do. Yeah. I've seen Lance Russell, and
there was one called Gordon Soley as well.
Gordon Soley, yes. There's another guy, I'm trying to remember his name. Because there was 3 particular ones who used to do rotate in and out of WCW, and I can't remember the other guy's name. Yeah. It's going to annoy me because I'm going to remember it later. But because those guys would circle in and out with doing commentary with Jim Ross.
Yeah.
Well, Tony Schiavone, actually, I think is what it would have been, because Schiavone was first. Jim Ross actually comes in later once Crockett buys the UWF.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just make sure I remembered that correctly in my head, because that does get confusing.
Yeah. That's the one, I think it was what Bill Watts was running at the time.
That's it, you got it. Yeah. It brought in people like Sting and so on.
Yeah, Sting and Steiners and that, Well, it's more like Rick Steiner.
Yeah, it's what got them into Crockett, basically.
Yeah.
Which is what WCW was back then, for people that don't know.
Yeah. I think at the time, Jim Crockett brought UWF, I'm sure. I'm sure he brought them, which is why a lot of the wrestlers came over.
That's exactly what happened.
The likes of One Man Gang and, Sting, Rick Steiner, certain people like that,
You said One Man Gang.
For people that don't know that, he's referring to when he called himself Akeem, and he was a tag team partner for the Big Boss Man in a tag team called the Twin Towers.
Mm-hmm. The African Dream, despite the fact
he was
not in any way African.
Yeah. And he was billed as being from deepest, darkest Africa.
Yeah. I mean, I've been told since, and this may explain, apparently that African Dream thing was a job at Dusty Rhodes.
It was, yeah.
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 It kind of makes sense.
The hand movement is Dusty Rhodes used to do it quite a lot.
Yeah, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that may be where that all comes from then, possibly.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it wasn't really meant to be insulting in the way people will take it. I think it's more meant to be insulting to Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah. That was it. I think, there was something that Dusty had done that pissed Vince off, and you know what Vince is like.
Well, Dusty was the booker at that point for Crockett, so I imagine quite a lot.
Yeah. Well.
So, because if you're one of the main people for your rival company, then you probably are not going to like them very much. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah.
So, that's the thing. I mean, weirdly enough, we've got onto a tangent, but now we've brought up Dusty Rhodes. He used to be part of that Nitro 3-man booth as well.
Yeah, that was another one. Yeah, just before we joined NWO.
Yeah, that was a great choice.
Yeah. No, because what exactly did he bring to the table for NWO?
I'll get this in a minute. I'm still trying to think.
Yeah.
I think that kind of gives it away, the fact I'm struggling to think what he actually contributed to the organization. And that's nothing, it's Dusty Rhodes. I just think it was a bad thing for him to be put into. It was.
I mean, certain people mentioned Elizabeth as well, but the fact that at least she was, she was good to look at.
True, but if you're going to look at people who shouldn't have been in the NWO, Randy Savage.
Yeah,
that never made sense to me.
No, never made sense to me, to be honest with you, because he was, you know what I mean. He was too volatile to be in a group, because as you know yourself, if there's that many volatile characters, it doesn't work.
Well, here's the thing: in WWF or WWE, as a lot of people would have seen Savage, particularly more recent viewers, because obviously stuff. They wouldn't have been used to Savage being that way too much. I mean, it happened occasionally, like the Hogan storyline particularly. But in WCW, that volatile aspect of his character came out a lot more.
Yeah, that's it.
So but it made no sense to me as to why he would side with Hogan for one thing.
No, definitely not.
Especially considering the rap album.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Which apparently you can actually buy on eBay, and it now costs like $100 because it's no longer you can no longer buy it.
Yeah.
It's discontinued. So literally the cheapest copy you can get of that album is now $100.
Wow. Yeah. I think I'll keep my money in my pocket, I think.
Yeah. I think it's also the fact that he's no longer with us, so I think it kind of price.
Yeah.
Also obviously insults Hulk Hogan as well, so that does have that plus side to it.
Well, that's it, yeah.
So bear in mind, whenever I particularly mention a wrestling character, if I say the character name, I'm referring to the character, not the person that plays them.
Yeah.
Two different things.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that raises an interesting question. I mean, how many people can you think of where art imitates life when it comes to the wrestling business?
Austin.
Yeah.
Brett. The Rock. Let's see. I'm sure Sting was a Dark Avenger hanging up in rafters for 18 months. He didn't actually go home or anything.
Do you think he used to swing from the raft of his loft at home?
I would have. Come on, if you could have done that, wouldn't you have done it? Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, look at Jungle Boy in AEW. Do you really think that if he doesn't, that he wouldn't swing from ropes if he could?
Well, there you go. Yeah.
So, and I mean, just look at some of the people you have nowadays, and you think they don't do stuff as a gimmick. I think they probably do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, one of the best examples of this would probably be Eddie Kingston, because apparently people forgot to tell Eddie Kingston that wrestling's real isn't real.
Yeah. Well, of course it's real.
Have you been talking to Eddie Kingston again? I've told you about that.
Yeah.
Because
I read it on the internet, and as you know, if it's on the internet, it's gotta be true.
Yeah, apparently Eddie Kingston doesn't understand the word scripted.
No. So he's a guy who, I've often thought that a lot of this, when he talks on the mic, it's definitely not scripted.
No, I don't.
Definitely not scripted with him.
I think that's a difference in promo style, particularly with AEW. Is some of them probably require help or guidance, but there'll be some of them you don't need to do anything to. Be here's the mic, off you go.
You know what? I think you can work out who are the ones that are reading off a cue card or something.
Or have to have help and guidance.
Yeah. And I don't mean this to sound in any way sexist, but a lot of the female performers in every promotion that I've watched, a lot of the promos seem forced.
Okay, I have a theory about this, and you can tell me what you think about this opinion. I think it's because they're trying to promo like the guys do. Yeah. Promo as yourself.
Yeah.
You are not a guy, you're a woman. The thing is that we traits you have in common with guys. Of course you do. We have traits in common with you. But at the same time, there are things a woman can do in a promo which a guy cannot.
Yeah.
Make the most of your strengths.
Yeah.
Don't show people your weaknesses by trying to emulate something you're not.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to say that women are weak or any of that box. No, fuck that shit. No. Because I know too many women. I grew up in a house full of women. I know far too many strong women to believe that's a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I do think sometimes people try too hard to be something they're not. And I think that may be the issue with the promos.
Stay almost true to yourself, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, even if you're in character as a wrestler, you can still be in character, but use your own personal experiences to influence how you do promos. Eddie Kingston's a great example of this.
Yeah.
No matter what I think of his wrestling ability, he's a great promo.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as I don't hear it every bloody week.
No.
But he does promo too often for me.
Yeah.
That's one thing. If you just had him do like every 2-3 weeks a promo.
If you're going to be, when we're talking about the guys who do promos, and promo was a great strength of theirs, we talk about the likes of Jake the Snake Roberts, Roddy Piper was a good talker, people like that, and you knew that they weren't very, and Flair, they're not repetitive, Yeah. But Flair, for me, though, when he was having a promo, I was almost scared that he was going to drop down dead of a heart attack. But the way he used to rant and rave.
Apparently nothing's changed.
No. Yeah.
Apparently Space Mountain's still open for business, but
yeah. Yeah.
And that's a nice quote for you older wrestling fans who get that, what I mean by that.
Yeah. And there's apparently something going on in WWE now where he's
Lacey Evans.
And she's apparently pregnant, but I don't know if that's kayfabe or if she's actually pregnant in real life.
No, it's real life pregnant.
Yeah, it's real life, is it? Right.
Yeah.
So now when she announced her pregnancy on Raw, was it? Apparently Ric Flair was in the corner, sort of like done some weird jig, like not making out that he was the dad.
I just think Ric Flair just does that anyway, regardless of what's going
on. Yeah.
Because I think at this point in Ric Flair's life, he's earned the right just to do that shit and not give a fuck. Yeah. The man was nearly dead less than a year ago.
Yeah.
It's like I said before with when people are who was it I was talking about before? I don't care. You've earned the right to do that shit.
Yeah, we talked about Undertaker,
Jericho. Yeah, Jericho. Undertaker, yeah. Flair's in that same category. You've earned that right.
Of course, yeah.
You're not hurting anyone. You fucking go for it.
Yeah, that's it. And we're talking about guys who did unscripted promos. Ric Flair's was always unscripted.
Yeah, you try scripted Ric Flair. I don't think that ended very well.
He'll take one look at the script, he'll fucking rip it up, and he says, right, go fuck yourselves, I'm speaking the way I want to speak.
I think you'll find he'll go something like this.
Yeah.
By God, gee.
Yeah. Yeah. Always loved that. And the other thing that used to always amuse me was when the woman was in the Horseman, obviously with Benoit at the time.
Nancy,
yeah. I always loved it when he always used to say, "Woman, oh woman, won't you marry me now?"
And Kevin Sullivan's like, no.
Yeah, yeah,
At least at that point.
yeah. No, because at the time, yeah, they were still together, weren't they? And he's the one that puts it up for himself, Sullivan. He was the one that basically said to them, right, you hang out, together, make it look real, blah blah blah. So
yeah, it's same as gone down in wrestling folklore. He booked his own divorce essentially.
yeah, yeah.
Which I don't recommend anyone should do that.
No, definitely not. No, no, yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, we talk about promos. I mean,
yeah,
talk about people who do really good promos. The thing is, you can start off doing very bad promos, not be able to do promos at all, and then you get doing really good ones. And a good example of this is Brian Pillman.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. Are we talking with his loose cannon gimmick there? Because I always thought he was a bit bland on the mic when he was in WCW, before. And when he joined with Stone Cold Steve, well, he wouldn't have been Stone Cold then. When he was with Stunning Steve Austin, when he
with hair,
I think it was being with Austin that actually boosted his mic skills.
At that point, yeah.
I saw the Pillman's promos before that. It just seemed very, very vanilla, if you get what I'm saying.
He was generic babyface at that point.
Yeah.
Once he interacted with Austin, I think, helped spark that.
Yeah, I think so. Because Austin was always a good talker, always.
And those two were friends in real life as well.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
So, but then eventually Pillman ended up progressing. He ended up being in the Horsemen, and of course, then you got loose canning happen. Then his adventures in ECW.
Yeah, never wrestled for ECW, but he made it look like he was going to join them. And then joined WWE.
And piss in the ring.
Yeah. He goes, I'm going to whip my Johnson out of piss in the air. Yeah.
And for people who think that we're exaggerating, no, this was a thing. He actually threatened to get his penis out and piss in the ring.
He did. Yeah. Because wasn't it a case of, I'm sure, I can't remember what film this was in. I'm sure he must have got the inspiration from a film, and it might have been Blazing Saddles. Actually, do you know the part where the Black Sheriff pulled out his thing, what he was reading from? He goes, "Excuse me while I whip this out." I am sure Brian Pillman said exactly along the same lines.
I know the film. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know.
But firstly, there's a Black Sheriff.
The sheriff is near. Yeah.
People wondering, that's from the film, just to be clear.
Yeah.
So it's a funny film. Highly recommend it. Mel Brooks is a funny guy.
Yeah. Well,
But here's the thing. I mean, like the Pillman thing, because the example of somebody who went from bland to very good promo, it shows it can be done. Basically, is my point.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because that was you would almost say a landmark character.
Yeah.
Because that's what led to a lot of the other things that followed, like Austin's Stone Cold.
Stone Cold, yeah.
You got Moxley now.
And it's amazing how certain names come about as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you know, have you heard how he got the name Stone Cold?
It's his missus, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Apparently, she'd made him a cup of tea, and he was doing something.
Like my cup of tea.
And she said, and I quote, she says, "Drink your cup of tea. It's going to go stone cold."
And in the background, you heard dun 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 dun.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they were thinking of names, and there was one. What was it?
Chili McFreeze.
Yeah, Chili McFreeze. There's the one. Yeah.
That would have been a really good name.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the one. Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't go with that. I think it was great.
Chili McFreeze says, "I just whipped your ass." Doesn't have quite the same ring, does it?
Oh, I don't know. It does have its appeal, I guess. Just don't know who to, in all honesty.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Right. I do actually have something to bring up with you.
Yeah.
As an old-time fan like myself, this is something I think we have a unique thing to talk about. It's to do with the Bullet Club and the Super Elite bollocks.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to be very unpopular opinion, but I don't care. I hate the Bullet Club.
Right, okay. Well, I disagree with you there, but, obviously...
I know you do, but that's okay. But this is
that's fine. Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why I'm bringing this up with you.
Yeah.
It's a very specific reason why I hate the Bullet Club.
Yeah.
It's gone on too long.
Right, yeah. I guess we're 8 years coming up.
Yeah. The NWO, which was its former, was what, 3 years?
Yeah. But then, having said that, though, Chaos has been going longer than that.
Yeah, but the difference being is Bullet Club was very much a NWO-inspired rip-off.
Yeah.
That's my issue with it. It's not a unique entity on its own. Something like Chaos or Suzuki Goon, those factions, they're their own thing.
Yeah. When you think about it now, they've had how many different leaders? Bullet Club. I mean, it started off with Finn Balor,
Prince Devitt.
Bullet Club, Prince Devitt, as he was called when AJ Styles then took over as the leader.
Alan.
Alan
Jones.
Good old Alan, yeah.
Uncle Al.
From AJ Styles, who took over the leadership. Kenny Omega took over, and then Bad Luck Fale then takes over, and then obviously Jay White, who's now the leader now.
Switchblade.
Yeah, that's one. What do you think of Jay White?
I've not seen a lot of Jay White, but I actually like what I see.
My favourite New Japan wrestler. I love the character. I actually love the way.
So what do you think about him disappearing and nobody seems to know what's going on with him?
Well, he's back now.
Oh, is he? Okay.
But it's almost like nothing happened, really.
That seems a bit weird, don't you think?
I'm not sure if he was just carrying an injury and it was just an explanation just to take a few weeks off. You might have just wanted to get, which is very, very unusual for New Japan though, because the Japanese pride themselves on their toughness. I know he's Australian, but you'd think that anyone wrestling for New Japan would sort of like go along with the way that they conduct themselves. That injuries or taking time off from injuries are almost like frowned upon, unless it's something very, very serious, like what happened with Hiromu Takahashi.
Is this like the strong style thing?
Yeah, style.
New Japan is very much strong style. So it's not just the style; it's more the mentality and the attitude.
Mentality that that you're meant to be tough and you're meant to just battle through these injuries, which is why I suppose a lot of these wrestlers don't have the longevity that you would in promotions in the US.
I think this is one of the reasons why Nakamura left New Japan for WWE, because it's a lot easier on him. I don't blame him. Good luck to him.
Yeah.
Obviously, Nakamura is an older wrestler in this, so I don't blame him. I think New Japan is very much should be a case of probably 18 to like 35 at most, and then don't do it.
That's it, yeah.
Unless you're something like Vader, because Vader used to go to New Japan, and that's not an issue, because if you're that size, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Or Stan Hansen, another one who used to be New Japan.
And he was a big guy himself, Stan Hansen, wasn't he?
Blind as a bat, but a big guy.
Oh. Well, yeah. I'm not sure if he's still with us, actually, Stan Hansen.
I believe he is. I can actually I think I can check that. Just I actually used to really like watching Stan Hansen wrestle.
Yeah. I liked when he used to clobber his opponents with the cowbell. Oh, he used to hog tie them, didn't he?
Of course you would like that.
So, well.
Right, just give me a second. This should appear. Yep, he's still with us. He's 71 years old.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Once we get to August this year, he'll be 72.
72, yeah.
So
good on him.
Yeah, so he's doing pretty well for himself, considering there's wrestlers younger in years who are no longer with us.
Yeah.
I reckon, though, to be fair, Stan Hansen probably just lariats death every time it turns up.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So. It's like I think Harley Race used to pile driver death just to get it out of the way.
Well, that's it, yeah. So that's the one.
Yeah, it's just certain wrestlers you just know for a fact if Death turned up, Death would just be, no, thank you, bye.
Yes, that's the one,
Because with certain people, in real life, they probably would actually be able to kill you.
Yeah, I think you're right. So
I mean, we were mentioning Bullet Club before. Obviously, one of these guys, unfortunately, this bracket would be Ming Haku.
Yeah,
and obviously his sons are now in Bullet Club. There's
Gorillas
of Destiny in there.
Gorillas of Destiny, yeah, they're the current tag team champions at the moment. You've got Tamatonga, Tangaloa, but he's got another one there as well, Hikaleo. But he's on excursion at the moment. So,
you may want to explain excursion to anyone who doesn't know what that means in wrestling terms.
But what an excursion is you've got this is more related to the Young Lions, which is like the young wrestlers in New Japan.
People in training, essentially.
Yeah, to gain experience, they get sent to overseas for about a year or 2 years, to sort of like to more learn the business and then come back, which is what happened with Samayuki Oka, who's come back as a Great Okan. He actually wrestled for Rev Pro Wrestling for 2 years and then come back to New Japan and reinvented himself as the Great Okan.
It's fun. It's funny we've actually gone to this subject because obviously this actually brings back full circle to almost why the Forbidden Door was such a big deal in the first place. Because Impact TNA used to have New Japan wrestlers come over on excursions, and one very famous one did so and got treated so badly. New Japan said, "Fuck you."
Yes, and I read about that yesterday, funnily enough, and that was Kazuchika Okada.
That's the one where apparently they had him play essentially Kato.
Yeah, a Green Hornet kind of thing, wasn't it?
That's it, you got it. I remembered it too, because the first time I heard that song, I'm like, yeah, I remembered that guy. I just never made the connection.
Yeah. And the other one was Tetsuya Naito as well. He came over for a bit. But, again, not a great experience. I mean, I'll be honest with you, any New Japan wrestlers that have wrestled in WWE, WWF, or Impact Wrestling, it's never been a great experience.
It doesn't seem to be, no. I mean,
even like Shinsuke Nakamura now, I don't think he's been used correctly at all.
He never has been. They literally, the minute he walked in that company, they blew it, in all honesty. But I think,
there's one in NXT now. I'm not sure if you're aware of. We've got a guy called Kushida.
He was on the takeover, wasn't he, against Gargano?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Now him, I'm not sure. I wouldn't say he's not been used, improperly, but I just don't get why he lost to Gargano. I just don't get how he's been portrayed as this badass, guy who's coming in, just destroying everyone, and just losing to Gargano on the pay-per-view.
I don't know. Maybe to quote Gargano, it's the way.
Yeah. The way, indeed, yeah. Yeah.
It's the only explanation I can give to that because I have no idea.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Yeah. My battery's about to run out.
Cool. We've actually gone for quite a while anyway, so I think we've done all right for ourselves. But we've covered a lot of stuff, so obviously if at some point you want to come back and do more, then obviously we can definitely do that.
Definitely. It's been interesting. It's been nice.
There's plenty more to talk about.
Definitely.
And not even here either, so obviously it'd be good to keep talking. Obviously, I forgot to mention this beforehand, but do you have any socials you'd like me to share with this stuff?
Any
social media, Twitter and any of that bollocks?
I've got a Twitter account, but I've only just gone on Twitter 2 days ago. I was banned. I got banned permanently off Twitter, so I had to create a new account. So,
if there's anything you want to put up here, I can add it later, but we don't have to worry about it now anyway. Some people like to have their socials and like palaver on here, and other people don't care.
Have you got a Twitter account?
I have everything because I have to.
Yeah.
Well, I'll explain that later.
I'll send you over my Twitter account. I don't know it offhand at the moment, so.
To be fair, I have them all somewhere, so I don't have to remember these things.
So, yeah. Yeah, like I said, I've only set this account up 2 days ago because I got myself permanently banned off Twitter. So I had to create a new one. Okay.
Before you disappear, I'm going to get 2 predictions for you.
Go on.
The world title match at Revolution. Who do you think is going to win?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't. I think Moxley.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and the second one, if you get involved, Moxley and Kenta.
Yeah. Ooh. So, 1 minute. Let me go back to the world title one. Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Moxley. He's fighting Omega, isn't he?
That's it.
Yeah.
It's the Omega Moxley exploding barbed wire death
That's
match.
the one. Yeah, sorry, I just got a bit confused there. Then, yeah.
All right,
Sorry.
no worries.
Yeah, no.
It's hard to remember everything. Trust me, I get it.
But sorry, but as regards the Moxley and Kenta thing, I think Kenta takes the title.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I just think Moxley's held onto that title for so long now that it's time for, obviously.
I would say, to be fair, not by choice.
Yeah.
You know, things in the world happen, which means it couldn't really be helped.
Yeah.
But that's good. So we'll see if those happen anyway, because I'm curious to see. So we've done it in an hour and 20 minutes, which is a bit longer than what we intended, but we did have a bit of technical fun at the beginning. So
Technical issues and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we'll say goodbye to the people. So we'll just give everyone a little wave. Bye, people. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and we'll do more soon. So just goodbye to you guys.
Orange Cassidy.
Oh, okay. I can't bother. We'll see you later, people. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.